Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to concentrate on taking trim that looks like this and turning it into trim that looks like this, with the products that you see behind me. So stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Greatly appreciate it if you're a returning viewer. If you're new, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Want to make more videos like this come in the future, so please stay tuned for more. Today, as I mentioned before, and you've seen the pictures of, that was my 94 F-150 as of March. The trims on it, you'll see it across all of any manufacturer out there today. And it's been going on for a long time. Black textured plastics are a big thing on cars today, and they are something that is the worst after a couple of years due to UV damage. They'll start to turn gray, they'll start looking chalky. As you can see, my 94 F-150, even after I restored it, it still had a little bit of chalkiness. But understand, it has not been touched in, what is it, 26, 27 years, something like that. So that's a pretty extreme case whenever it comes to how bad it is. If you can get on top of it now and prevent it, or get on top of it as it starts to happen, you can keep that from being that bad. I'm going to show you today on my inner fender wells on my 2013 Mustang. That is going to be another extreme case, a lot of tar on it. I'm going to have to take some extra steps to get rid of all that to make this work. But I will have a small piece of that inner fender well that is more of the textured plastic you will see on your car. So please follow along and let's get started. So what you see here is a Tuff Shine tire brush, and the thing I use very often, all-purpose cleaner, Meguiars D101 all-purpose cleaner, cut 7-to-1. I'm going to use that to clean these today. These are the inner fender wells, as I mentioned, of my Mustang. They're pretty beat up. Most inner fender wells are. Most people wouldn't waste their time with them. It doesn't really matter to me. I already had it tore apart. I figured, well, I might as well try to restore them since I'm in there, because it'll probably be the only time I ever do it. But this applies to any plastics you have on your car. I'm going to get pretty extreme here. I'll let you know whenever it's kind of an area where of a more usual situation would be that you would have on your car. In this case, I have a lot of road tar, a lot of embedded contaminants on this, so I want to get all that off. So I went ahead, rinsed it off, sprayed Meguiars all-purpose cleaner, as you've seen, 7-to-1. Used my Tuff Shine tire brush to really try to break some of that up. I did it on the bottom side, and as you can see right here on the top side. So top side isn't too bad. I just did a quick once over. It's more dust than anything, and so after that, go ahead, rinse it off. I have my pressure washer here. And then once you're done with that, go ahead, just give it a good drying. I do recommend any of them that you're going to do. Any of your plastics, make sure they're clean regardless. Soap and water works fine. Rinseless wash as well, but let's see with what we're working in. So this is Eulex from Koch Chemie, and shop towels just from Walmart. Any of your local stores, Ace, any of your auto parts stores will have them. Eulex is a tar and glue remover. It's pretty potent, so glove up as you see there. I'm using my shop towels, fold it in force. Put a little Eulex on there, and take the cap off there, and put a little on there, and work it in. It'll slowly work the tar loose that is on here. There's a lot of it, as you just seen. This stuff is very, very potent. It smells like, I can compare it to nail polish removers. A pretty good comparison to how it smells. It's that potent. Stuff's supposed to be safe on cars. I've used it on paintwork many of times. Works great. I've removed tree sap, bugs. I mean, that might be a little bit of an extreme case, but I've had some bug guts on there that just don't come off. I've also got tire sling and tar up the side of my car. Got them off with that. Just always do a test spot in an area that you're not going to see it. So then you'll know. In this case with plastics, be very careful. You're not going to normally do this with any exterior plastics you see on your car. You're going to just use you're just going to do a soap and water and an isopropyl alcohol. You'll see whenever I get to that point, but this is something I have to do on this particular portion, but you can do if you're going to restore your plastics. You can make sure, this might make sure it's really squeaky clean. In my case, there's tar embedded on this pretty bad, so I want to make sure to try to get that off. Please try, once again, a small area with it where you don't see it, to check for color. This may stain certain plastics on it. It says don't use it on, there's certain plastics, it's not this. I was able to look this up. It is not that plastic, but there's certain plastics it will hurt. So just make sure that you just be careful. Do a test spot. I think you'll be okay. But as you can see, you're starting to see little shards of pieces of the paper towel come apart. That's going to happen through this. I know that it's a rough surface because it's been beat up over the years with rocks. Whenever you're all done, just tip it up, flip it out of the way, dust it off. It'll go away. And the next, whatever's left, the next step will take care of it, because we're not going to use paper towels in the next step anyways. So, but I want to give you a close-up shot here so you can see up close what exactly is happening. Don't overwork an area too hard. Aggression is not what you want to do. Gentle, rub around it, move on to a little bit of a different area, just kind of work a whole area and come back. And what that does is, before it evaporates, it'll start softening that stuff up. When you come back around, it gets a little easier to come off until you just keep working it like that, and it will eventually all come off. So one thing that I did forget to mention, please use this in a well-ventilated area. This is not something you want to be sitting in a closed area. You will hurt from it. I had my windows open at this point. I had my garage door partially open. I had a window open in the back. So I was getting relative ventilation, but plan on when you throw away your towels, make sure you close up the garbage bag, because it will stink. It will smell like nail polish remover. It'll fill the whole garage. Wherever there's not a wall, it will be that smell. So this is where I was talking about the isopropyl alcohol. This is where you would be doing this normally with for normal plastics on the outside of your car, like my bumper you've seen. You can use isopropyl alcohol. That's what Chris West, who makes the next stuff that's going to help us restore this, recommends using. But you can also use something like a panel prep. This is CarPro Eraser. It's basically to remove oils, waxes, anything left over that may be on there that would interfere with the bond of what we're getting ready to use. So just do a good wipe down. I'm just using an old microfiber towel, a different one. So I got quite a few of them laying around. I make too many more of these videos, I might run out of them. But that's okay. We'll get some more. We'll keep working. It's worth it to me to put out the education on this stuff. So just make sure you pay attention whenever you're wiping this down. You see me picking off little pieces of tar there, and you'll see little marks my fingernails left. Those end up staying, and those are the marks that you will see if you scrub on them too hard. So here's the stuff we're using. Solution Finish. I got a microfiber applicator there. An old microfiber to wipe off. You can use a new one, old one, it doesn't matter to me. Make sure you glove up. This stuff is black. It has, I do believe it has crushed up carbon in it, is what I believe it has in it to make it black. They make this stuff in fusion gray as well. So like I think Honda Elements were ones that had fusion gray plastics. So you wouldn't be using the black, you'd use a fusion gray. Some guys even get the blacks and the grays and mix them to make something closer, because not every plastic's made equal. This stuff was developed in response to everybody's seen the Chevy Avalanche. If you haven't, look it up. I promise you this is the stuff everybody uses on them things to restore the ridiculous amount of plastic on those. I think Chris West, who makes this stuff, said there was 4 or 5 different plastics they use, so they all fade differently and look differently. Some fail faster than others. So, but this stuff, what it is it almost dyes it back to black. Or gray if you get the fusion gray. In this case, I'm going to use the black. All my stuff has black used to be black plastics, and I'm going to bring them back right now. So just put a little on there as you've seen, wipe it around, make sure you get in every little nook and cranny as you can see me doing there. It's okay to wipe back over it, that's fine. So speed it up here so you don't have to look through watch this whole thing. So just wiping it on. And then once we're done, it'll sit for, I think you let it sit 3 to 5 minutes. The bottle says 2 to 3. You know, you can I've let it set 10. It works fine. So here we are. Got my microfiber, as you can see, for the solution finish. Just wiping off the excess here. You'll know when you've got it right. You know, watch. You'll have some shiny spots, some not so shiny spots. So just watch, you'll see. You can see it's looking much more satin now. It's not really shiny. What I'm doing, just wiping off the excess, is essentially what it is. You can get this stuff in a kit as well from the rag company. I'll put a link down in the description for that. You don't have to buy each individual thing and have a bunch of different special things. They actually sell a kit. So that's where this microfiber cloths come from. It's where all my microfibers are from. It's from the rag company. So check out their website. Great people, good stuff. They have great videos, and they have videos on solution finish as well. So yeah, just finish wiping it off. Make sure you get a good wipe. As you can see, it's a lot more black already. You can leave it at this point if you'd like. If you're happy with it, it'll hold up, I think, anywhere between a year or 2 on most plastics before it starts to fade back. But you can continue on like I'm doing here and use solution finish over the top plastic sealer. I got a microfiber applicator, as you can see, and a microfiber towel to wipe it off. This stuff's just clear. Go ahead and put it on your microfiber applicator, and then just spread it around really easy. You'll see where it wipes on. It's very clear as day. It turns it pretty shiny. It's almost like a paste wiping it on, so it could get really gummy and sticky. So they recommend using 2 to 3 coats. What this is this puts basically a thermal elastic bond on it, coating over it essentially. So it's very flexible. It's pretty resilient. You can also put something like Gtechniq C4. I'll put a link for it down in the description as well. I've used that. That's what I used on my bumper on my truck, because it's a plastic coating, so it's good for a year or 2. It'll help. C4 is also something else you can use if you've got a brand new car to keep this from happening, even starting to happen. Put it on every couple years, make sure it's good and clean, and you can put it on. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future. I've got to do my Mustang. I got to do a ceramic coating on it, and I'm sure there's gonna be some things with C4 trim coating put on. So that's something else you can go over it with. So both of them I know are compatible. This is what they recommend, and it's mainly because if this happens again, you can redo it. So here's the smaller piece I was talking about. This is like the textured plastic trim you see around your car on top, bed rails, around windows, mirrors. So this is the process you're going to use. This is the more normal way of doing it, and how it's recommended. Me, I had to get extreme. So it's just isopropyl alcohol from your local drugstore, shop towel, and just wipe it down. What you're trying to do is get the grease and oils and anything that may interfere with the bond. So wipe it down good. You can see there's still some dirt on it. I'm not really worried about the bottoms. That's all hidden. I think by the time I'm said and done, I end up hitting them anyways. So make sure you do all around the edges. You can see all the stuff coming off the towel there. Flip the towel and keep going. Getting your little intricate areas as well. So you guys seen me put solution finish on a microfiber applicator before. I just put a little bit on here because there was so much left over and this is such a small piece. You just rub it in good. Make sure you get all your edges in every nook and cranny because you'll see it when it's all said and done because it is restored. It will definitely show you where you didn't restore it. So wipe it on and then give it 3 to 5 minutes and get yourself a microfiber towel and then just wipe the excess off as you see here. I'm trying pretty hard to get down on that nook and cranny because you can get some puddling, and that's what I had. I was trying to get all that puddling out of the black so it didn't smear or run back down. And as you can see, this is over the top again. They want you to put that on immediately after you do solution finish. So that's what I'm doing here. I'll put it on over the top here, and we'll be good to go. Look at that transformation. That's a pretty big difference. So like I said, they sell this stuff in fusion gray and black. So let's move back on over to the other piece. Now that this is sat for a half hour as recommended, we're going to go ahead and wipe it off. You can leave it on there as well. I don't believe it hurts anything. They want you to keep it dry for 8 hours, so just make sure it's not going to rain that evening if you did your exterior trim or pull it in the garage, or in my case, mine's going to lay on the floor of the garage. So yeah, just wipe off the excess and you're all good. They recommend 2 to 3 coats. You're going to see me do 1 here, but I end up doing 2. So yeah, greatly appreciate it for you guys tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Would love to see you guys back here all in the future. We'll be making more videos, and much appreciated. Let's see those results.